One of the best football coaches of all time is Vince Lombardi. Lombardi believed in sticking to fundamentals. After the Green Bay Packers had won 2 championships in the 1960s, they lost a game. They lost it very badly to an inferior team. The day after, Coach Lombardi calls everyone together for a team meeting, and he begins by holding up a football and saying, "Gentlemen, this is a football." Paul Horning from the back of the room calls out, "Coach, can you slow down?" But today I'm going to talk about the fundamentals of investing. Hopefully you won't be calling out or thinking, "Coach, can you slow down?" So let me start with the question. When we invest, what causes us to make money? In other words, what are we being compensated for? Answer?
Buy low, sell high.
Well, that's how we hopefully do it. But what are we being compensated for?
risk.
For risk, yes. Anything else? There's actually 2 things.
The time.
That's part of it. We're being compensated for giving up the use of our money. Otherwise, we could go out and spend it and enjoy it. And we're being compensated for bearing risk. So what are some things that people typically invest in? Stocks. Yes. What else?
Property.
Real estate. Yes. Anything else?
Futures?
Well, that's not that common.
Okay.
But how about bonds?
Bonds.
Okay. Those are the 3 most common. Real estate we'll talk about first. That's easy to talk about because there's been a study by Freddie Mac over the last 30 years. They determined that the annual return from real estate was 3.7% per year. You compare that to the inflation rate of 2.8% per year, and it's not a very auspicious return. After you account for property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, it's actually not such a good investment at all. Stocks are a very common form of investing. When we invest in stocks, we're becoming owners in that company. We share in the fortunes, good or bad, of the company. We can make money, we can sometimes make a lot of money, or we can lose money, or sometimes lose a lot of money. When we invest in bonds, we become lenders to that company. They have use of our capital, but they're obligated to return it to us at some time in the future, provided they stay in business. If they don't stay in business, we have a senior claim on the assets of the company, whereas a stockholder does not. Stockholders get whatever is left over, which sometimes is nothing. So because of that, because of the difference in risk, stockholders earn a higher return than bondholders. Looking at the graphic here, we can see the average annualized return from the year 1802 of stock investors is 6.6%. Bond investors receive only 3.6%. T-bills, which is a riskless form of investing, similar to putting your money in the bank, it's 2.7%. Gold, commodities, is practically nothing, and keeping your money in cash or under the mattress, you lose money. So with this high return, and we see that $1 invested in 1802 would be worth about $705,000 compared to only $1,800 in bonds, and much less in everything else. With this high return comes something else. What is that? Volatility, risk. Yes. You can see that it's not a smooth line going up. There are dips, sometimes big dips. In the 1930s, the stock market lost over 80% of its value before recovering. During the past 20 years, the stock market has dipped over 50% on 2 occasions. How many have heard of Warren Buffett? Everyone. Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors who's ever lived. You can invest with Warren Buffett by buying shares in his company, Berkshire Hathaway. During the last 20 years, An investment in Berkshire Hathaway would also have lost over 50% of its value on 2 separate occasions. What happens when investors are faced with this kind of volatility, this kind of risk? Well, 2 things. First of all, they may not even invest in something like stocks because of the volatility. Or if they do, they may want to diversify into something like bonds or commodities or who knows what in order to reduce that volatility, reduce that risk. And in doing so, they also reduce substantially their possible rate of return. What else might investors do? Well, they might behave badly. If they see stocks dropping 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, they might think, my God, it's never coming back, and they might sell out right at the wrong time. Conversely, if stocks go up 20, 30, 40%, they might think, oh my, I'm going to be left behind, and they may invest at the wrong time near the top. Studies have shown that investors do invest at the wrong time. They sell low and buy high, which is the opposite of what they should do. So the return they receive is nothing like what you see here. How can investors overcome this? How can they reap these kind of rewards while minimizing return and volatility? Well, in order to do that, they need a rules-based quantitative framework for investing so that they can indeed buy when stocks are going up and be in the strongest areas at that time and stand aside when stocks are going down. That, my friends, will be the subject of another speech. For right now, I'm here today to tell you about the fundamentals of investing. Thank you.